My mom had an intense passion for scavenging through the trash. When I was 5, she found a jade bracelet. I accidentally cut my finger, and my blood dripped onto it, turning it into a portable pocket dimension. So, having too much free time on my hands, I started stealing my dad's money and hiding it inside. Before I even turned 10, I'd casually saved up around 300,000 yuan. When I was 11, my mom picked up a pair of glasses. Putting them on, I could see the true value of any item, so I used my 300,000 yuan capital to hunt for underpriced antiques. On my best day, I made up to 8 million yuan. Before I was even 18, I had secretly become a billionaire. After finishing my college entrance exams, I planned to lay my cards on the table and stop pretending. Who would have thought that right as I got home, I'd catch my dad bringing his mistress over, forcing my mom to divorce him and leave with nothing. My mom was absolutely furious, ready to fight him to the bitter end. Just as my dad was about to speak, I rushed in and covered his mouth. "Mom, there's no need. His measly pocket change isn't worth you fighting over." Seeing that I was the one shutting him up, my mom instantly burst into tears. Her eyes were filled with mixed emotions, a blend of anger and sorrow, but mostly the heartbreak of feeling betrayed by her own flesh and blood. I was screaming internally at the injustice. I wasn't taking my dad's side at all. I just genuinely looked down on his money. He ran some tiny, insignificant company that barely pulled in 2 million yuan a year compared to the companies I invested in. I could make that chump change back in a single day anywhere. Wasting time arguing with him just wasn't worth it. I was just about to tell my mom to come into my room so I could show off the hundreds of millions in my bank account when my dad deliberately put on an act, shoved my hand away, and yelled, "Wang Shuing, look at what a failure of a woman you are. You're still young but don't even know how to dress up. You look ancient compared to women your age. Even the son you devoted yourself to raising knows you're leaving this divorce with nothing, and he's taking my side. Tell me, what reason does someone like you even have to keep living? You might as well just drop dead." He stuck out his massive 10-month pregnant-looking beer belly, a smug smirk on his face, and his eyes full of contempt. That punchable face made my blood boil. Just as I was about to speak up, his disdainful gaze shifted to me. "Even though you're a little brat who just spoke up for me, don't even think about coming with me, and I'm never paying for your college tuition either. All my money is being saved for the son in Qianxin's belly. So stop dreaming and don't waste your breath sucking up to me." Right as he finished speaking, I suddenly saw a bright green light glowing above his head. That's right. Last week my mom found some unnamed spice and tossed it into the soup. After drinking it, I gained the ability to see colors above people's heads. Purple meant the person was having a streak of good luck and was about to strike it rich. Red represented a bloody disaster, extreme misfortune. Pink meant true love had arrived, romance was calling. As for green, it meant the guy was wearing a massive, glowing pair of cuckold horns. My mom was a traditional woman shaped by old-school values. Years ago, when my dad's business failed and he owed tens of millions, she still couldn't bear to divorce him. Since then, she developed the habit of working odd jobs to pay off his debts, while scavenging for trash to make extra cash. Someone like her, who couldn't even bring herself to move on, how could she possibly cheat on my dad? My gaze lingered on the woman, clinging to my dad like a leech. Her name was Qianxin. Big chest, tiny waist. She was definitely a professional homewrecker. To be fair, she really was prettier than my mom. She had that seductive, feminine charm that easily drove men wild. Looks like the one handing my dad those green horns was her. I glanced down at her belly, where a brilliant red cloud hovered, symbolizing a bloody disaster. I'm afraid she won't be keeping that baby. Sensing my stare, Qianxin trembled all over. Putting on a frail, dramatic act like a sickly damsel in distress, she weakly collapsed into my dad's arms, whining in a sickeningly sweet voice, "Hubby, I'm so scared. Your son's eyes are so terrifying. It's like he wants to kill me. Does he want to hurt the baby? In my tummy? I don't care. You said you'd be my hero. You have to protect me." Feeling her absolute adoration, my dad immediately puffed out his beer belly, shielding her like some peerless hero, and glared at me with even more fury. "Wanglin, wipe that look off your face right now. If I ever find out you dared to touch a single hair on my Qianxin's head, don't blame me for cutting all ties and skinning you alive." My mom was the most fiercely protective person in the world, and she loved me more than anything. The moment she heard my dad threaten me, she stormed into the kitchen, grabbed a meat cleaver, and charged out with a ferocious look, screaming that she'd hack them both to death. My dad turned pale as a ghost, shielding Qianxian as they scrambled back to the door. Watching his so-called heroic display, my heart turned ice cold. I remembered back when the debt collectors showed up at our door, my dad could only cower under the bed like a spineless turtle. Every single time, it was my mom wielding a knife, ready to fight them to the death, that kept those thugs from barging in. Once, a debt collector got lustful and tried to assault my mom. My dad just covered his ears and pretended not to hear a thing. I urged him to go out and save her, but he just glared at me with disgust. "You're just a brat. What do you know? If you lead them over here, I'll strangle you myself." Later, thankfully, I ran out screaming and got the neighbors there in time, preventing a tragedy. From then on, I absolutely despised my dad and constantly urged my mom to divorce him, but she was stubbornly tied to traditional values, always believing she had to give me a complete family. Or maybe she always believed my dad would make a comeback one day. As it turned out, she was right. A year later, my dad seized an opportunity. His career took off, and he cleared all his debts. To thank my mom, he bought her a 3-piece gold jewelry set to make up for the past, and transferred 200,000 yuan for her to use freely. From then on, our lives gradually improved, but my mom still couldn't kick her scavenging habit. Only afraid of embarrassing my dad, she'd wear a mask and go out scavenging at night. Once, I had to pee really badly, and caught her sneaking out. Half an hour later, she came back lugging bags of all sizes. The next morning, a pair of glasses appeared on my desk. I thought they were just normal glasses, but who knew that putting them on would let me see the true value of everything. A month later, using the excuse that the company was struggling, my dad cut back on the living expenses he gave my mom. Terrified of returning to our old days of poverty, I took the glasses to the antique street to hunt for treasures. The very first time, with just 5,000 yuan, I bought a dust-covered jade bracelet and flipped it for 300,000. From then on, I'd find excuses to skip class, buying low and selling high. In just one short month, I made 20 million and rubbed shoulders with countless antique tycoons. I had 20 old men fighting to adopt me as their grandson. As for the number of guys wanting to be my sugar daddy, there were too many to count. I even thought about secretly introducing some to my mom, but unfortunately, she had zero interest in stepping out, so I dropped it. I tried dropping hints that I could make money, but she just scolded me, saying I'd read too many system and lit RPG novels, and lost my mind. I wanted to tell her to look at the money in my pocket dimension herself, but who knew she'd be so obsessed with scavenging that she didn't even pay attention to me for half a year. Plus, we weren't exactly struggling at home anymore, so occasionally, I just secretly toss a few stacks of cash and designer goods into the dumpster she frequented the most and called it a day. This secret stayed buried right up until I finished my college entrance exams. Just as I was about to lay my cards on the table, my dad had an affair. He really is a miserable, luckless bastard, destined to be broke. The door slammed shut with a loud bang, and my mom broke down in tears. Seeing her cry tore me apart, so I quickly opened my banking app, turned off the hidden balance feature, and prepared to show her a fortune that would make anyone drool. A 10-digit balance. By now, my mom was sitting on the floor, stomping her feet and wailing, looking utterly devastated. I'm just a stay-at-home housewife. How am I supposed to compete with that homewrecker? If I really have to leave with nothing, how am I supposed to survive? Oh God. I tugged at her sleeve, trying to shake that firm bicep she'd built up from years of scavenging, to draw her attention to my bank balance. But right as I pulled, I heard her next lament. If I leave this house, I won't be able to scavenge here anymore. Where else am I going to find a dumpster that spits out cash every few days, stack by stack? Where else can I find a dumpster that drops LV bags, Valentino shoes, limited edition Apple 17s, and rare antique coins? Tell me, where am I supposed to find another dumpster like this? My hand froze midair, my mouth twitching uncontrollably. I couldn't believe my ears. I grabbed her hand, trembling as I asked, Mom, don't tell me. All these years, the reason you refused to get a divorce was because you couldn't bear to part with the neighborhood dumpster? My mom instantly stopped wailing and shot me a look of pure disdain. What's with that judgmental look? Do you have any idea that your mother, purely by scavenging, has already bought 2 villas under your name? That's all for your future bride's dowry. She shoved her hand into her wide-leg pants, whipped out a blindingly bright orange Hermes leather-bound phone, a genuine iPhone 17 Pro Max, unlocked it in a flash, tapped into her banking app, and shoved the screen right in my face. You little brat, take a good look. Over the years, I've made a solid 20 million yuan in savings just from scavenging. That's way more than your dad's trashy company ever made. This neighborhood is an absolute feng shui goldmine. How could I possibly let someone else steal my turf? Even if we divorce, I'm fighting tooth and nail for this house. That dumpster can only belong to me. My jaw dropped. My mind was a tangled mess of 100 different thoughts, and I had no idea how to even process this. I always thought she hesitated because she couldn't let go of my dad. Who would have guessed she was attached to the dumpster? And the mastermind behind all of this was me. After a long pause, I finally managed to squeeze out a sentence. Mom, if you have this much money, why do you dress so shabbily every day? And what about the wrinkles on your face? Before I could even finish, she sprinted into the bathroom like she was running a 100-meter dash. After the sound of rushing water, she zoomed right back out and stood in front of me. Take a good look. This flawless porcelain skin, these stunning looks, these delicate features. I could crush 5 champions any day. Your dad really dropped a watermelon to pick up a sesame seed. She patted her own cheeks, her tone brimming with pride. I go to a high-end beauty salon for skincare 3 times a week. How could I not look young and beautiful? But I was afraid your dad would find out, so I had to play poor and miserable. With that, she grabbed me by the collar, dragged me into the messy, rundown storage room, and right before my eyes, pressed a hidden switch. The very next second, the wardrobe full of ragged old clothes let out a loud rumble, and an elevator cabin suddenly appeared inside. She pulled me in, and hit the button for basement level B1. The moment the doors opened, countless blinding rays of light shot out, nearly blinding me. I had to shield my eyes for a good while before I could recover. I was completely stunned by the sight before me. A massive walk-in closet stretched out in front of me, a jewelry section, a Hermes bag section, a luxury watch section. It made my head spin. I almost thought I'd wandered into a high-end shopping mall. Holy crap. Turns out my mom was the hidden billionaire all along, and my dad was the poorest, dumbest idiot in this house. Shaolin, this is the vault I spent a fortune designing. One day, all of this will be yours. I let out a dry cough, straightened my clothes, and prepared to confess my true identity. Just as I opened my mouth, she reached out and squished my cheeks together, shutting me up. Shaolin, do you see your mother's true power now? I earned all of this by braving the elements and scavenging through the trash. I absolutely refuse to hand it over to anyone else. Don't even think about telling me to give any of it up. I'm going to find a lawyer right now. No matter how much it costs, I'm fighting for the right to stay in this house. I struggled and mumbled, gesturing for her to let go so I could speak, but she had already picked up her phone, turned around, and started dialing her lawyer. Watching her back as she passionately argued her case, my feelings grew even more complicated. At this point, I really didn't know if I should spill the secret about the dumpster. If I poked a hole in this illusion, her only source of joy after the divorce would definitely be shattered. But if I didn't say anything, would I have to keep my secret billionaire identity hidden for even longer? After thinking it over, I decided I had to crush her one and only hobby. From now on, I'd have her come work at my company. 50 is still a prime age to contribute to the workforce. But when I ran upstairs, she was nowhere to be found. My phone suddenly dinged with a new message. I'm on my way to the lawyer's office. Xiaolin, I have plenty of evidence of your dad's affair. Don't worry, I'm definitely securing this cash cow. I've thought it through. You were born a bit slow, so you'll probably only get into some community college and won't have much of a future. Once I get the deed to this house, you're coming out scavenging with me every night. From now on, you can rely on scavenging to save up for a wife. And when you have kids, you can pass these scavenging skills down to them. Generation after generation. We'll keep the family tradition alive and build a prestigious dynasty that goes down in history. After sending that impassioned speech, she bombarded me with a bunch of shopping links. I'm busy talking business with the lawyer. These are all specialized scavenging tools. Hurry up and order them to the house. With that, she transferred me 10,000 yuan and added, don't be afraid to spend it. This is literally money falling from the sky. It'd be a waste not to use it. Falling from the sky? My ass. For years, I worked my butt off stealing cash from my dad's wallet, worked my butt off skipping class to buy low and sell high, worked my butt off building social connections, hustling to make money, only to spend all that time and effort, secretly stuffing cash and designer goods into the dumpster for her to find. Terrified someone else would grab it, I had to stake out the alley every night, waiting until she picked it up before I dared go to sleep. And in the end, I just shot myself in the foot. I gritted my teeth, but silently accepted the 10,000 yuan that was mine to begin with. My mom seemed incredibly pleased and sent over a document titled The Secrets of Scavenging. For example, which dumpsters had the highest drop rates for valuables, which ones spawned electronics, and which ones dropped Hermes bags. Grinding my teeth again, I hit download. After that, I pulled some strings and made a direct call to Party A, my dad's company's main partner. Hearing the number I offered, the partner didn't hesitate for a second and immediately terminated their contract with my dad's company. At the end of the day, he started this mess, so he had to pay the price for his own mistakes. Hanging up the phone, my mood improved significantly. The next day, I purposely swung by his company to watch the show. In the conference room, they were processing the contract termination, and my dad was losing his mind. CEO Chen, are you kidding me? The goods are ready to ship, and now you want to cancel the contract. Do you have any idea how much trouble this causes us? Qianchen rubbed her belly, putting on the airs of a boss's wife. That's right. If you blatantly breach the contract, the penalty fee is a whopping 2 million yuan. CEO Chen impatiently cut them off. Enough. It's just money, isn't it? I'll pay it, and we're done. He transferred the money in a flash and turned on his heel to leave. My dad went berserk in his office, smashing things. Investigate. Go investigate this right now. Who the hell is getting in my way? Seeing him get his well-deserved karma, I was highly satisfied and prepared to turn and leave. But my dad furiously shouted at me to stop. Go tell your mother not to even dream of getting that house. I won't give her a single dime. I didn't even bother pretending with him anymore. My face darkened. I'm the one who did it. I'm not letting you off the hook, and I highly suggest you obediently hand the house over to my mom. Otherwise, my dad was enraged by my insolence, slamming his hand on the desk. Otherwise, what? What are you gonna do? I'm your father. You think you can disrespect your old man? Shin Chin stood nearby, not forgetting to add fuel to the fire. That's right. Xiaolin. Even if he and your mother get a divorce, he's still your biological father. You can't just be an unfilial son, can you? You're all grown up now. You should be able to tell right from wrong. Hurry up and apologize to your dad. I shot her a death glare, cursed trash right to her face. And then, under my dad's furious gaze, I clearly laid out my warning. Within 3 days, if you haven't finalized the divorce procedures and handed the house deed over to my mom, I guarantee I'll completely bankrupt this garbage company of yours. My dad probably thought I was crazy, muttering that I was a psycho. I couldn't be bothered to argue with him. He'd find out soon enough whether I was bluffing or not. I didn't have to wait long. That very day, while my mom was teaching me the skills of identifying trash, my dad furiously pounded on the door, banging against the smart lock. My mom had just changed the password for Wang Lin. What the hell did you do? Why did all the company's partners cancel their contracts at the same time? I turned on the fingerprint lock screen and spoke to him through the intercom. Keep screaming your nonsense out there all you want. Just answer me about the condition I gave you the other day. Do you agree or not? Out of sheer frustration, my dad's face turned purple like pig liver. Ever since he struck it rich, very few people dared to disrespect him to his face like I did today. The air fell silent for a moment. Just as I thought the negotiations had broken down and was about to apply more pressure, my dad's teeth-grinding voice echoed through the intercom. Fine, I'll give this house to you and your mother. Let's sign the divorce papers right now. I told my mom to get the divorce agreement ready, then went to open the door. Who would have thought that the moment the door cracked open, my dad threw a thunderous slap, almost leaving a full handprint on my face. Seeing me deftly dodge it, he was furious, grabbing the baseball bat by the door, ready to strike again. I stood my ground, crossed my arms, and warned him in a low voice, Dad, I'm only holding back out of respect for our blood ties, which is why I didn't crush your company immediately. But if you dare lay a finger on me, I guarantee you'll never survive in the business world again. I said these words with absolute coldness, my imposing aura completely overwhelming even the chairman of top-tier families, not at all like a naive 18-year-old kid. He raised and lowered the bat in his hand a few times, before finally throwing it to the floor with a heavy thud. He looked at me with a complicated expression, and asked again, why did those guys listen to you? Of course, I couldn't tell him the truth right now. What if he found out I was loaded, and went back on his word about the divorce? So I gave a vague answer. You'll find out in a month. There's going to be a massive auction at the exchange center, and all the big shots will be there. It'll be the perfect chance to bring my mom there to rub it in your face, and maybe find myself a better new dad while I'm at it. Hearing this, my dad misunderstood, thinking the backer behind me was some new sugar daddy my mom had found, who wouldn't dare show his face until the divorce was finalized. Oh, you're real good, Wang Shu. Turns out you've been cheating on me this whole time, and even got your lover to deal with me. Isn't it just a crappy house? I'll let you have it. He scribbled his signature as fast as he could, then stormed off in a fit of rage. I never really intended to drive him to a dead end anyway. After all, my first pot of gold came from the capital I got from him, so there was some karmic connection there. So, after getting the divorce agreement in hand, I called my special assistant to leave his company a way out, and also told him to arrange a month-long graduation trip for me. But before I could even finish my sentence, my mom burst into the room, patting a rustling plastic trash bag, and excitedly invited me. Xiaolin, let's go. Let's go pick up trash. My face scrunched up in misery, but my tone was firm. Mom, want to make a bet? I bet you won't find any decent trash tonight. If I win, you have to agree to one request. My mom crossed her arms, looking extremely confident. And what if you lose? Then I'll stay home this whole summer vacation and just follow you around to learn how to pick up trash. Hearing this, my mom looked like she'd just won a 5 million yuan lottery, covering her mouth to hide her excited giggles. It's a deal. My career finally has a successor. What are we waiting for? Let's go right now. She marched ahead, fired up and full of energy, while I followed behind, a smug smirk creeping onto my lips. Tonight, I had specifically ordered my subordinates not to throw any designer goods or cash into the trash bins. I didn't believe she could still scavenge anything good, but the very next second, I was dumbfounded. My mom briskly walked up to the first trash bin, rummaged around with her right hand, and pulled out a handful of sparkling items. At a glance, I could tell they were priceless emerald pendants. She even dragged out an unconscious girl with breathtaking, country-toppling beauty, but covered in wounds from head to toe. My mom clicked her tongue twice, grabbed her by the shirt, and hauled her out of the trash pile, then shoved her right into my arms. Little Lindsay, you're all grown up now. It's time for you to start dating. I'm leaving this to you. It took me forever to snap out of it, and I helplessly called my assistant to find a reputable hospital for emergency treatment. Just as the girl was taken into the ER, a news notification popped up on my phone. Yu Wei, the youngest daughter of a Hong Kong billionaire, kidnapped for ransom. Astronomical reward offered for her safe return. My right eye twitched as I tremblingly clicked on the attached exclusive photo. Great. She looked exactly like the girl my mom just picked out of the trash. I hurriedly forwarded the news link to my mom. Stop picking up trash from now on. You've brought a massive disaster upon us. Hong Kong is so far from Shangjing. How did she even get here? If we say you picked her up from a dumpster, who's going to believe that? My mom replied with absolute calmness. It's fine, piece of cake. In danger lies opportunity. Challenges are just chances in disguise. You're still young, so you don't get it. Good girls are hard to find these days. They don't just circulate on the market. You gotta strike first to gain the upper hand. I can tell this girl has a very blessed face. She's your heaven-sent destiny. You two just get along well, okay? I wanted to question her further, but she sent me a picture of a plane ticket to Sonia. Little Lindsay, mom's getting old. I'm off on a retirement vacation. Handle this yourself. See you in a month. When I tried to send the next message, I found out she had blacklisted me and run off. Truly worthy of being my biological mother. Whenever there's trouble, she just dumps it all on me. I scratched my head in frustration, but finally decided to wait until she woke up, give her some money to catch a ride home, and absolutely keep my hands clean of other people's wealthy family feuds. However, when she woke up, what the doctor said completely floored me. The doctor said bluntly, the patient suffered a severe blow to the head, so she has lost her memory. The doctor nodded firmly. My face darkened even more. Then when will she get her memory back? The doctor shook his head helplessly, saying the timeline was uncertain. I collapsed onto the waiting bench, paralyzed. I was totally screwed. The instigator was lying on the hospital bed, blinking her big round eyes at me, tightly gripping my hand and whining, Mommy, I'm so hungry. Seeing a girl 4 years older than me acting like a spoiled child gave me goosebumps all over. Oh, my dearest mother, please stop picking up random trash from now on, okay? I sent my assistant to buy her some food, while I immediately looked up the phone number on the missing person report and added their contact info. After snapping a few photos of Yu Yue and sending them over, they replied in a split second. Please wait a moment. Our boss is flying over in a helicopter right now. I told them to keep her identity a secret, while spending a fortune to hire a team of bodyguards. No matter what, before Old Master Yu arrived, Yu Yue had to remain safe and south-sewed. Luckily, there were no incidents. Seeing his precious daughter alive and well, the white-haired Old Master Yu excitedly grabbed my hands. Thank you for saving my daughter's life. For this life-saving grace, name any condition you want. As long as it's within my power, I'd climb a mountain of swords or plunge into a sea of fire without hesitation. I hurriedly waved my hands. No need at all. As long as she's okay, that's what matters. I don't lack anything. With that said, I was ready to slip away. I didn't want anything to do with this hot potato anymore. Who would have thought a small hand would tightly grab my arm, and a pitiful voice rang out, how about for a lifetime? Swish! Countless probing eyes instantly locked onto me. Afraid they'd misunderstand and think I was demanding repayment for my favor, I quickly explained, No, don't misunderstand. She's just lost her memory and is being overly clingy, so she's talking nonsense. Please don't take it seriously. Especially afraid that Old Master Yu would get the wrong idea. I emphasized every word. Old Master Yu. I swear I have absolutely no ulterior motives regarding your daughter. I definitely have no intention of clinging to a wealthy family. Besides, I'm already wealthy myself. I have plenty of money. I don't need to climb the social ladder. After saying that, I tried to slip away again. Unexpectedly, Yu Yue sobbed, clutching my hand tightly, closed her eyes, and fainted. The 1.6-meter little fluff ball collapsed to the ground with a thud, scaring the crap out of me. After examining her, the doctor advised, Mr. Wang, the patient is currently severely lacking a sense of security and has developed a psychological dependency. She also can't handle any emotional shocks. I suggest you spend more time keeping your sister company. I was just about to retort that she wasn't my sister, when the elderly Old Master Yu suddenly bowed 90 degrees. Young man, until my daughter recovers, I'm begging you to stay by her side and keep her company. Looking at the blinding, golden halo of fortune above his head, I swallowed my refusal back down. This man's fortune was booming. He lived to be at least 100, and his future was absolutely invincible. An extra friend means an extra path, so I agreed. But damn it, nobody told me that this amnesiac Yu Yue would be so clingy. If I stepped out of her sight for even a second, she'd frantically text me, Brother, what are you doing? Brother, I ate 5 tangerines. Why haven't you shown up yet? The doctor said my leg is healed. I can be discharged. Hurry up and come pick me up. Looking at the 109 unread messages, I sighed helplessly. Looks like for the auction next week, I'll have to drag her along no matter what. The auction coincidentally fell on the exact same day my mom went to get her divorce certificate. In the morning, I went with my mom to the Civil Affairs Bureau, where my dad spat venomous words, saying we were cutting all ties from now on and would never see each other again. But come afternoon, we bumped into each other right at the entrance of the auction. Seeing my mom shed her disguise, looking over 10 years younger and more beautiful, my dad thought she came here on purpose to show off. He ordered the security guards. Guards, hurry up and kick these uninvited freeloaders out of here. The commotion was a bit loud, and the crowd gathered around, pointing and gossiping. Who's got the guts? to cause trouble at Fusheng Pavilion? Talk about overestimating oneself. 7 years ago, Fusheng Pavilion got the backing of a mysterious tycoon. Not only do they always bring out rare antiques, but thanks to that tycoon, they've built countless connections, and their business has skyrocketed. And this idiot dares to come here and make a scene. I really couldn't stand their panicked gazes anymore, looking at us like we were monkeys in a circus. So I pulled out the black card in my hand. In an instant, the entire scene fell dead, silent. The guards who were about to rush over froze in their tracks. They all recognized that this was a privilege reserved only for VIP guests. This kind of card. Fusheng Pavilion had only ever issued exactly 10 of them. The way they looked at us shifted from disdain to absolute reverence. Some even started asking around to find out what kind of divine figures we were, wanting to find a way to network with us. Only my dad still hadn't grasped the situation, pointing at us and yelling, "Are you all deaf? Are you all deaf? What are you standing around for? Hurry up and grab them. Are you really going to let these irrelevant people compromise our security?" As soon as he finished speaking, someone cursed him out for being a country bumpkin. Furious, my dad grabbed the guy by the collar, demanding to know how he dared say that. The man sneered. A guest holding the supreme black card of Fusheng Pavilion is practically their boss. A VVVV level VIP. Not only did you fail to recognize them, you even had a death wish and tried to kick them out. If you're not an idiot, what are you? As soon as the words fell, my dad's eyes, filled with disbelief, landed on us. As if struck by lightning, he quickly let go. How is that possible? That black card. He's my son. He just finished his college entrance exams. How could he be an honored guest of Fusheng Pavilion? That's right. Old Wang. He definitely picked this card up somewhere. Qian, throwing her weight around because she was pregnant, pointed at me and screamed at the guards. "Hey, this mother and son are thieves. They stole from your VIP guests. Hurry up and arrest them. Hand them over to the police." As soon as she finished, a voice retorted, "If he's a thief, then why would the #1 billionaire in Hong Kong let his daughter follow them around?" This statement once again threw everyone into shock. They all simultaneously looked over at Yu Wei standing next to me. Her background was actually that massive. My dad's gaze instantly changed. He thought the black card belonged to Yu Wei, so he dropped his arrogant attitude, pulled out a business card, and shamelessly sidled up. "Miss Yu, my son is still young and naive after all. There will be times he doesn't take good care of things. How can such a precious card be left in his hands? Why don't you let me hold on to it for you?" As he spoke, he chuckled and tried to snatch the black card from my hand. I took a step back, dodging his hand, and looked at him with a half smile. "Who said this black card belongs to Yu Wei?" The smile on my dad's face froze, thinking I was just messing with him. Just as he was about to put on his superior elder act, I pulled my mom and Yu Wei straight into VIP room 1. He tried to chase after us, but was blocked at the door by the bodyguards. "Sir, room 1 is strictly for VIP guests. Your tier is not high enough. Please do not try to force your way in. Otherwise, we will be forced to escort you out of Fusheng Pavilion." My dad's face flushed red, about to say something, but Qian persuaded him and pulled him away. "Honey, let's just find our seats first. We came here to buy the Jade Buddha statue for our son's peace and good luck. Don't let this ruin our main goal." A Jade Buddha statue? I rubbed my chin. What a coincidence, I like it too. Today, they were destined to leave empty-handed. The charity auction began. The very first item was the Jade Buddha. Because its color was ordinary, and its size wasn't large, most people didn't pay it any mind. After all, there were much better items coming up later. Only a sparse handful of people raised their paddles to bid, and my dad happened to be the wealthiest among them, thinking he had it in the bag. After his final paddle raise, he directly added 1.5 million yuan to the initial 1 million. As soon as this price was called, the others immediately gave up. Hearing the auctioneer drag out his voice for the second call, 1.5 million going twice. My dad completely relaxed, leaned back in his chair, and waited for the final hammer strike. But just as the final hammer was about to fall, the hall's big screen suddenly refreshed. The auctioneer's voice suddenly spiked. "VIP room 1 bids 3 million. Do we have any higher bids?" My dad's face instantly choked up like he'd swallowed a fly. 1.5 million was already the absolute limit of what he could take out. Qian grew anxious, tugging at his jacket. "Honey, your son hoped to sugar mama, so he's deliberately going against the baby in my belly. I don't care. I dreamed that our son said he really liked this item. You have to get it no matter what." These words gave him an idea, and he reassured her. "Don't worry, I'll go find him and demand it later. I'm his father. Does he dare refuse me?" As soon as he finished speaking, the auctioneer struck the hammer for the third time, shouting, "Sold." Hearing that I had just spent 3 million, my mom looked visibly pained. "You brat, 3 million just like that. Do you have any idea how much trash your mom would have to pick up to earn that back? Whatever, my money is going to be yours eventually anyway. Consider it my treat." I couldn't help but laugh at her expression. I pushed the card back to her and pulled up my bank balance on my phone. "Mom, you're underestimating your son way too much. Count how many zeros are in there. My mom snatched the phone, counting the zeros in the account over and over, 5 times in a row. By the 6th time, her whole body was trembling. She looked at me like she'd just seen a ghost. Oh my God, where did you get all this money? You didn't rob a bank, did you? Or did the family of that girl you saved give you a massive reward? They did offer, but I politely turned it down. A life-saving debt is a huge favor. How could I let them just buy it off with money? Then didn't we take a huge loss? I grinned. Take a guess, Mom. How do you think your son got into VIP room 1? As a fellow master of hiding wealth for years, my mom instantly caught on. She lunged forward and hugged me tight. That's my good boy. But her expression quickly shifted. She pinched my cheek hard. And here I thought you were just a naive kid. I can't believe you dared to trick your own mother. You owe me compensation for emotional damages. Your mom happens to be missing a pair of earrings. With my approval, she didn't hold back at all. She successfully won the bid for a pair of emerald earrings worth 10 million yuan. The moment the 10 million bid went up, Qian couldn't sit still anymore. She shrieked at the top of her lungs, Wang Dakun, are you out of your mind? Just how much money did you give that bitch in the divorce? Buying a 10 million yuan item without even blinking. Before my dad could even respond, I casually dropped another 50 million yuan to buy a Warring States period white jade dragon pendant, then swiped another 90 million yuan for a Qing dynasty auspicious treasury coin. In just 20 short minutes, I had blown through over 100 million yuan. This time, it wasn't just my dad who was shell-shocked. The rest of the crowd was completely dumbfounded too. In their eyes, no one could mobilize 100 million in liquid cash that quickly. Besides, Yu Yue was just a wealthy heiress. She hadn't even taken over the family business yet, so this money could only belong to someone else. They completely lost interest in the auction and started digging into my background instead. And what they found was absolutely terrifying. Oh my God, the actual controlling shareholder of that corporation has been changed to Wang Lin. What? He also holds 40% of the shares in Guian Maritime Group. Look at this public statement. He was officially taken in as an adopted son by several retired top brass officials. Good Lord, he just finished his college entrance exams. How is this kid so incredibly capable? If only he were my son. As they gossiped, they shot my dad looks of pure envy. Feeling the weight of those envious stares, my dad felt absolutely no joy. He was only filled with agonizing regret for throwing away 100 million yuan jackpot. He never could have dreamed that my previous threats were actually because I myself wielded world-shaking connections and absolute power. It wasn't because my mom had found some rich sugar daddy to back us. Forcing himself to wait until the auction ended, he desperately rushed over to the VIP room door, wanting to suck up to me. But there were plenty of people much faster than him. A massive line had already formed to hand me business cards. He couldn't even squeeze his way in. By the time I finally walked out, he tried to approach me, only to get shoved aside by the crowd. Caught off guard, he tumbled hard to the ground, landing pathetically right at my feet. I reached out and helped him up, even considerately brushing the dust off his knees. My dad was absolutely overjoyed. He thought I still cared about our father-son bond. But then I opened my mouth. Wang Dakun, looking at your face, you have the physiognomy of a man destined to be betrayed and abandoned. A fate of dying without an heir. I highly advise you to go back and double-check the baby in your little mistress's belly. Make sure it's actually your biological child. He instinctively opened his mouth to curse at me like he used to, but then he caught the guilty, panicked look in Qian's eyes. He immediately snapped his mouth shut. If what I said was true, then wasn't he just raising some other bastard's kid? It wouldn't hurt to get it checked out. He immediately grabbed Qian and dragged her off to get an amniocentesis DNA test. Watching him storm off, I let out a cold smirk. I wonder what kind of expression he'll make when he finally sees those test results. While I was lost in thought, my mom leaned in and whispered in my ear, Shaolin, you go ahead and handle your business. Mom's gonna go watch a good show. I'll record a video and send it to you later so we can laugh about it. Without waiting for my reply, she sneakily trailed after them. I was just about to tell her to stay safe when Yu Yue, who had been quiet this whole time, suddenly spoke up. Do you need me to send someone to keep an eye on her? Hearing her tone, completely devoid of her usual playful teasing, I quickly turned my head. My gaze met her deep, amber eyes. I felt a surge of excitement. You got your memories back? She nodded, a faint smile in her eyes. I've caused you a lot of trouble lately. Let's have dinner together tonight. Consider it my way of saying thanks. Before I could even get a word of refusal out, she sent me the restaurant's address. Isn't your company trying to break into the Hong Kong market right now? I can help you with that. We can talk business over dinner. Sound good? The rejection that was on the tip of my tongue was instantly swallowed back down. A man can hold a grudge against anything, but he should never hold a grudge against money. All right, I'll be there on time. Yu Yue left with a satisfied smile to go find my mom. I stayed behind to network with a few key executives. Dropping 100 million to show off today was exactly to grab the attention of the business elite. It was paving the way for my official debut later on, and right now I was extremely satisfied with the results. By the time I locked in a few partnerships, it was already dark. I quickly hailed a cab to the restaurant. On the ride over, I received the video my mom sent. In the video, my dad and Qian Shen were viciously tearing into each other. My dad looked absolutely feral as he punched her right in the stomach. I divorced my wife because of you. I abandoned a son with a brilliant future, and you dared to cheat on me. You really thought you could make me raise some other bastard's kid. Qian Shen was just as ruthless. She kicked my dad squarely in the crotch. You disgusting old fart. You're lazy and you stink. If it wasn't for your money, you think I'd ever want to be with you? A heartless, ungrateful piece of trash like you actually expects to have a son. I curse you. You're destined to die alone without an heir. My mom was having the time of her life. Her texts came flooding in. Haha, I'm dying of laughter. His junk got completely wrecked. He's never going to be a man again. Teesk, teesk. My luck is just too good. I gave birth to such a capable son, and my little trash-picking hobby ended up making us a fortune. All right, I'll stop texting. I'm gonna go back to picking up trash. I was just about to tell her the truth about my identity, but the cab pulled up to the restaurant. Whatever. If she likes picking up trash, let her pick up trash. Even if the sky falls, I'll always be there to back her up. I walked into the restaurant, and Yu Wei thoughtfully pulled out a chair for me. Once I sat down, she didn't say a word. She just stared at me with a gentle smile. She stared for so long that I started getting goosebumps. I thought she was about to pull a cougar move and confess her feelings to me. But then she suddenly spoke. Xiaolin, I've always wanted a younger brother. Would you be willing to let me be your big sister? I let out a massive sigh of relief and nodded without hesitation. A bossy older woman could never beat a cute younger girl anyway. Career comes first. How could I let myself get tied down by a woman? Just as I was secretly celebrating the fact that I had secured another powerful backer, my phone rang. It was my mom. The moment I answered, her ear-piercing scream nearly shattered my eardrums. Son, I just found an incredibly handsome guy in the dumpster. It's time for another startup, my boy.